Hi, I'm Pastor Goodman, and this is the Largely Catechized Life. So if you asked most people what they thought Christianity was, they'd probably tell you what they saw. Christianity is about complaining. It's about complaining about transgenderism, abortion, gay marriage, maybe even divorce if you really want to get your hackles up. But it's really about whining about how far society has gone off the rails, that they have just abandoned God's law altogether, and that we alone are left to behave ourselves. And it sounds like we threw out the gospel. It sounds like we forgot the forgiveness of sins. It sounds like we just focused way too much on the sixth commandment, or maybe the fifth. But the truth is, it's not that we're talking about the sixth commandment too much. It's that we're not talking about the first one enough. You see, to fear, love, and trust in God above all things, that's the beginning of all of it. Luther writes, where the head is right, the whole life must be right, and vice versa. You see, if you don't have the first commandment, the fifth, the sixth, none of the rest are going to make much sense. You can maybe yell at somebody into outwardly obeying what you think is right, but here's the thing that sooner or later Christians are going to have to get through their heads. If somebody doesn't believe in your God, they're probably not going to care much for his rules. If somebody doesn't have the first commandment down and their head is off center, don't be so surprised when the body follows. And this is something that gets worse and worse. It compounds. So much so that when God gives the first commandment, he actually tacks on an explanation to it that Luther puts at the end of the commandments. He says, I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You see, where the head is not right, the body is going to go farther and farther and farther away. Generation after generation, it will compound and look worse and look worse. And the solution is not simply to deal with the body and try and pick it up and bring it back into place. It's to set the head aright, that we would have no other gods before us. To be a Christian, it doesn't just look like outward obedience to the second table of the law. It looks like faith. It looks like having one God, the true and living God, who came down from heaven, took upon himself human flesh, died upon a cross for the sins of all the world, and rose again from the dead. And that which gives faith, word and sacrament, that's going to be the solution. That is going to be what sets the head aright, that the body would ever follow. And so to be a Christian in public, well, it looks like forgiveness too. It looks like a Jesus who would actually deal in mercy. And this alone is what calls us to faith. This alone is what rights the body, because these are connected, the head and the body. And where the head is right, the whole life must be right, and vice versa.